Hello, my name is John Clark, representing Group 2, here to give you a little bit of insight on managing conflict across cultures and how it may pertain to your workplace. The United States is a veritable melting pot of cultures and has the unique privilege of being able to have all of these cultures intermingle on a daily basis in many cases, particularly in the workplace. Therefore, it is paramount for us to understand how to manage conflict between these cultures. To give you a baseline, I'll be discussing the means of managing conflict, as well as comparing the polar opposites of cultures between Eastern and Western civilization, and showing the context by which each communicates, which may be grounds for some of the perceived conflict. The means of avoiding conflict across cultures can be broken down into 5 distinct strategies: avoiding, obliging, compromising, dominating, and integrating. Avoiding is defined by staying out of disagreement and can also be characterized by people deflecting work or trying to duck out of a given conflict. Obliging is defined as satisfying the needs of others, most often associated with the phrase, "whatever you think is best." Compromising is a behavior that employs give-and-take techniques to achieve a middle road solution. For example, someone will say, "I will give up A if you're willing to do B." Dominating is using influence or authority to make decisions. For example, someone may say that since they're the subject matter expert, that you should do as they say. Integrating is collaborating with others to find solutions, often mutually beneficial with best success rate for conflict resolution. The polar opposites when it comes to managing conflict lie in Eastern, China, Japan, Korea, and Western, primarily American, ideals. The values between these two enormous groups of people differ tremendously, and can be characterized by the difference in context by which they communicate. In Western, again primarily American, culture, we tend to favor a more dominant approach than other cultures. At the same time, we also discourage avoidance and tend to prefer addressing any potential elephants in the room, even if it's at another's expense. This is likely due to the fact that Western cultures rely heavily on low-context communication, which is very work-focused and places less value on people. We're very mission-oriented, and oftentimes the job comes first. Conversely, Eastern civilization tends to go with a more avoiding or obliging approach in order to save face and spare others and themselves any potential embarrassment. Again, this is likely due to their high context of communication, which is very people-oriented. Particularly in many Asian cultures, this high context of communication is rooted deeply in Confucian beliefs, which places high importance on age, gender, and rank. Before really working with you or accomplishing a task, they prefer to establish a form of rapport. In conclusion, it is extremely important to recognize cultural impacts on managing conflict. Being able to recognize how different members of your office perceive and deal with conflict can potentially streamline your workflow and dramatically reduce the potential for frustration and even embarrassment. Similarly, understanding the context by which your coworkers communicate can be a tremendous help in reaching your organization's goals.